I make art and I'm an artist because I really like making art. Because as an artist, what I do creatively, I have total freedom. From the very first moment of my life that I can remember consciously, I know that art has always been a major focus or interest and desire. I always painted in watercolors. I always had colored pencil and paper. And since I'm a single child, no brothers and sisters, I had plenty of time to come up with ideas what I do to entertain myself. By the time I was 17 and the first computers were available to people like me, I worked with the Commodore 64. So we first hacked games and then we started programming our own little games. And then we also programmed something that was kind of like an art program. So you can actually make art with the Commodore 64, which was highly pixelated, more than Minecraft actually. This was the late 80s. That was right at the time when I had to get ready to do my high school exit exams, in Germany called Abitur. So no more time for art, obviously. And then the moment I got out of high school, young men like me either had to go to the military, or if you're a conscientious objector, you did civil service. And I worked in hospice care and with the elderly. And during that time, I rediscovered art again because I had to kill a lot of time just watching people sleep and taking care of them when they wake up. So I did a lot of art. I returned to drawing, and at the time I already knew that I wanted to study art because I wanted to be a professional artist. During my civil service working with the elderly, I prepared a portfolio to apply to art schools in Germany. But instead of studying art in Germany, I ended up in America, and I was able to study painting for a Bachelor of Fine Arts at the University of South Dakota. The time that I spent there was a lot of fun because it offered any kind of exploration. We could do photography, printmaking, sculpture, 3D, you name it. But then later I rediscovered painting again, and so I studied painting. And I ended up, painting really big. As you can see, like this dog on wheels. I know a bunch of people will say, no, that's not everything I did. Correct. I'm also a composer of contemporary music. And I have to say, that whole thing came about only because at the time when I was studying painting, and I used to paint really thick in oil, so I had a lot of wait time for the oil to dry. So I used the drying time to compose symphonies. That's how I got into composing contemporary music. Several pieces actually got read by the local symphony orchestra, and I got a lot of encouragement from composing professors there at the university. I should also become a composer, so I did. And years passed, and I end up writing an opera for the famous conductor and pianist Daniel Barenboim, which was one of the big highlights as a composer. Not bad a result of an activity that you use to wait for your oil paintings to dry. After that, I went on to the University of Wisconsin, and then I went for my Master of Fine Arts degree, also in painting. I worked briefly as assistants to my professors in teaching, but I knew there that my love and my life is painting, not teaching, and I knew back then that I want to take the full risk trying to make it as a visual artist, professionally. And the pathway that led up to everything, as I just told you about, encouraged me to actually do it. Not just trying to be a visual artist professionally, but actually doing it. And I did. And the reason why I do art is the same reason why I got to it as a little kid. I like doing art because art allows total freedom. Because you can make up your own rules. There's no rights or wrongs in making art. You can always come up with new stuff, new ideas, and you can let your fantasy go free. And that's why I like to do art. And that's why I'm a visual artist.